Man, if there is anything at all that'll have me getting out of bed super early, it's the combination of one, the whole matter of time zone, seeing that, Tokyo Game Show, I mean, it's right there in the name, you know where it's taking place. And on top of that, I got a big, ugly, nasty storm pretty much coming my way in the next couple of days. So I did want to at least try to get a video out about the SNK Tokyo Game Show segment before, of course, that thing comes crashing here. So, how am I feeling about that segment? Pretty good, actually. I actually enjoyed that a lot more than what SNK did at this past EVO. Again, I want to emphasize that is just my personal opinion. I'm not going to go too far into that. You all want to hear about how I feel about the news that we got. So, SNK did drop another bombshells worth of news on us, which is funny because the last time I mentioned SNK doing that, it was with CR7 Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, we still don't know what his role is going to be in City of the Wolves. With this bit of news, it's all out there, it's concrete. Around 2 months ago, I made a video asking between King of Fighters 15 or Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, which of these two games is going to be getting a Capcom character as an exchange for the fact that we have Terry and Mai in Street Fighter 6, and I guessed wrong, because I fell for the whole special thing that SNK was pushing with King of Fighters 15. And you know what? I'm cool with being wrong in that case, absolutely. Turns out that City of the Wolves is getting the guest character, and they are actually getting characters. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Ken and Chun-Li are coming to Fatal Fury City of the Wolves as a part of the Season 1 Character Pass. Now, to go ahead and get it out the way, and I'm going to be very clear and just straight to the point here, character choice wise, I'm cool with it. I'm absolutely cool with this, because I figured if either City of the Wolves or King of Fighters 15 was getting a guest character from Capcom, it was probably going to be Ryu, and I figured Capcom would probably continue trying to push Luke. Nothing against those two characters, but I do think Ken and Chun-Li are the better marketable choices. And not to mention, something I'm pretty sure someone said during the SNK segment at Tokyo Game Show, you got Ken, and of course his rival, or at least the way a lot of people look at it, has been Terry. He's in City of the Wolves. Mai is in City of the Wolves with the whole Mai versus Chun-Li thing. Perfect. I think those two are perfect choices for guest characters in this game. I cannot wait to see how they play, how they look in the style of City of the Wolves, which I have been a big fan of ever since they revealed it. Good job. And it's kind of funny how that particular announcement has me looking at a couple of other things, because as I'm sure you know, a couple days ago I dropped this video, part 2 of my Fatal Fury City of the Wolves roster predictions, and this completely consisted of, or at least mostly consisted of, me cutting characters from my theoretical roster, because back at Gamescom, SNK had confirmed that there are 17 characters on the starting roster, and my starting roster overshot it by 6, so I was just cutting characters. While it wasn't really the focus of that particular video, I did lightly touch on what characters I thought would be DLC, which I think could be possible for all the characters, maybe minus the new character that I cut from my theoretical main roster prediction. Well, that kind of also got schmixed a bit with this announcement because, of course, Ken and Chun-Li are a part of the Season 1 pass for Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, and when I first saw this announcement, I actually thought that they were going to be the two characters that are going to be released in summer of next year. But that turned out to not be the case after doing a bit of researching before I started recording. Ken is going to be one of those two characters that's released in the summer of that year, while Chun is going to come a little bit later. She's the 4th character coming in this pass, which is pretty interesting because, of course, as I mentioned, I agree with a lot of people that theorized that it was going to be Kim's sons who were going to be those two characters released at the same time because, of course, we see them as being inseparable. Turns out that's not the case. This does make me wonder what character is going to be released close to or alongside Ken in this case, because that was definitely a surprise. Like, I get that maybe, you want to hold out for it, but I just kind of figured once I saw that announcement when they played that trailer during the segment that it was going to be those two coming out side by side. You know, there's just that. And speaking of, it's just awesome in a ways. Like, I know that guest characters have been kind of getting some flack recently, but I just love how over on the Street Fighter 6 side, they got 2 Fatal Fury characters in their season pass. And then you go over to Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, we got 2 Street Fighter characters in that game. Clean, straight down the ticket, 1-to-1 exchange. And I'm not gonna say too much about this because I want it to be a little bit of a surprise, even though some of you might be able to guess it, but it's moments like this where I'm glad that I held off on releasing certain videos because there are 2, actually now I think about it, 3 videos that I have in the works for the remainder of this year wherein I'll have to update information based off of this announcement. So there you go for a little tease from me. But yeah, that right there was pretty much the announcement, or at least like the biggest announcement to come from that segment. Like I said, I'm happy about it. I still stand by what I said. I'm probably gonna say it in almost every single video where I'm talking about City of the Wolves. I know it's not out yet, and I have not gotten my hands on the game at all. I have not been to any special events, but this is turning out to be SNK's most ambitious fighting game in the past couple years, and they continue to further prove my point in that case. So big ups to SNK with that. I really did enjoy that announcement. Also, just as an additional kind of a side comment or whatnot, I'm glad they had Ami Koshimizu, the voice of Mai, and probably a bunch of other familiar characters for anime fans or whatnot. I'm glad they had her there because she brought the energy and just seems like a really fun person to be around. Just wanted to put that out there. So moving along to the other games, King of Fighters 15, I feel like people who are more invested in KOF 15 might be a tad bit disappointed that we just gotta look at the models and some of the BTS stuff rather than a full-on trailer. And with Vice and Mature's release getting closer, some people might have expected a lot more. Like I said, I don't hate Vice and Mature, but I don't love them all that much either, so when it comes to them, I don't really have too much invested. But what I am invested in was something else that was confirmed, and that is the fact that we are indeed getting a balance patch when these characters come around. Now usually I always say when it comes to certain things, I keep my expectations in the middle. In this case, my expectations are a little bit lower than usual, only because of SNK's history with this particular character in KOF 15. But for those of you who have been following my channel for a while, or maybe some of you who also follow the channel do know me personally, have talked to me about stuff like this, or if you've watched a particular video of mine, you all know that Darli Dagger is currently my all-time favorite fighting game character. With that being said, ever since this character has been released for this game, I'm gonna say something that a lot of people are probably not going to expect me to say. If SNK cannot make this character viable in terms of like the meta at least, then for me, Darli Dagger and KOF 15 would have been a waste. It really has. Like, I know there are always like low tier characters and whatnot, but go out there, especially on Twitter if you can, and just look up a lot of the footage that people bring up of some of the most absurd stuff that happens to Darli. Like, she is not good. And like the thing is, I know this might sound funny, but there's different types of low tiers. Like, the best way I could put it is this. Another character that I played in another game that was quite similar to Darli in terms of pretty much being a for lifer when it comes to being low tier is Alex in Street Fighter 5. That character has been terrible throughout most of that game's run. But towards the end, just to put it how Justin Wong had put it when he tried him out after he got a whole bunch of buffs in one of the later patches, Alex was still considered a bottom 5 character or a low tier character, but direct quote from Justin Wong, you get to play now. In other words, you could still make some progress. You could still possibly win some matches. Like, he's still low tier, he's still a pretty weak character, but he won't get run over. That is the state that Darli is in. Like, Darli gets hit with some of the silliest stuff in KOF 15. And quite frankly, like, as excited as I was for her, this has been a disappointment. Now, I don't really fret SNK too much for that because at the same time, I feel like this is just a matter of the nature of King of Fighters 15. Like, I understand and I get why people have wanted to see a Samurai Showdown team in this game for the longest time, but Samurai Showdown and KOF 15 are vastly different games. KOF 15, or KOF in general, is much more of a faster game when it comes to pacing than Samurai Showdown. Samurai Showdown is much more slower, it's a lot more methodical. In KOF, it's big damage from big combos. In Samsho, it's big damage from landing simple hits, counter hits, whiff punishes, all that stuff. Like, these are vastly different games, and sure, it makes sense because, of course, Samurai Showdown has been around for a long time. It is one of the more celebrated SNK fighting games, albeit probably not the most popular, but celebrated nonetheless. Speaking of, and I'm doing this all off the cuff, that is the perfect transition into talking about Samurai Showdown because I didn't mention it in any posts or videos beforehand. Like I said, I'm okay physically, but I still kind of struggle with fatigue and stuff like that with my condition, but I've been doing okay the past couple of days physically, you know. But I say that because I would have put a video out about my hopes for this particular segment. If anything really surprised me when it came to things that were announced beforehand, it was the fact that we were getting Samurai Showdown news. Like, I know we got the rollback update, but even more news? Now, granted, I know some people slightly might have gotten their hopes up thinking maybe more characters would be coming, and for me, that'd be nice, but did I think that was gonna happen? No. Not in the slightest, unfortunately. That right there would have been expectation shattering if that would have happened. Again, some people might have looked at this as disappointing, but for me, I actually think it's fine. But I think unless I'm missing something, because again, I'm not at Tokyo Game Show, and due to the storm, I could only keep up with so much because I have to prep for everything because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna lose power over here within the next couple of days. The Samurai Showdown news was the fact that it was also going to be basically, in my words, running alongside KOF 15 at the SWC, the SNK World Championships. Once again, for most people, this might not be the biggest announcement, but I am happy with this. I am. It is nice to see that SNK is actually trying to push multiple fighting games at this point. Because for so many years, for us, it's just been KOF, 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 KOF. And then of course, in the recent years, by surprise, Samurai Showdown made a comeback, and now we have Fatal Fury also making a comeback. And it's nice to see that, at least for the time being, this might change in the future, I'm not sure. Well, I can't really say all three of these games are going to be running side by side because I like to imagine KOF 15 will still be kept around. I would imagine, or hope rather, that Vice and Mature aren't the end for KOF 15 getting more characters. I would hope not. But I just say all that to say that once City of the Wolves comes, I think it'll just be KOF 15 and Fatal Fury City of the Wolves running side by side. If they keep Samsho around, even like as a little side thing, that's cool. But if they keep it like in the top running and still like push it as a main event, then that would be phenomenal. I was gonna make a half joke that the reason why I'm glad SNK is still breathing life and still trying to get a little bit of a push for Samurai Showdown is because Darli is also in that game and she's hella better than she is in KOF 15. But honestly, like, obviously she's my favorite, but there were a lot of characters in that game that I enjoy playing. Like, I really can't point out any that I actually despise, if you ask me. I mean, obviously there were those characters around that time I was really playing that would give me trouble, like really good Ukyo and really good Genjiro players. Earthquake came the closest to being a character that I outright hated, but when I was having trouble with him, one thing that I do when it comes to fighting games, if I'm having trouble with the character, I'll play the character myself and get a good idea of how it is behind the wheel, if you will. And when I was playing Earthquake, and this even dates back to like way back in the day, he's a fun character. Even though he can annoy me at times, and he is a fun character. Earthquake is fun. So, like I said, I know it would have been amazing and expectation shattering if Samsho got more characters, but I really wasn't betting on that too much, to be honest. Like I said, KOF 15 is obviously still got some fuel left in it, and SNK is still trying to push it. But I know, of course, and you all know, that Fatal Fury City of the Wolves is their baby right now. It's their golden child, and they're getting all the attention. So yeah. But that right there is gonna be the long and short of it. Again, I enjoyed this special segment by SNK. I think it was better than what they did at EVO. Obviously, the hype for Fatal Fury City of the Wolves is still there. The only thing that I really want from SNK is an open beta. I know it's coming, but I need a date. I need an announcement very soon, which, as I think about it now, probably isn't going to happen until maybe December, because the game comes out next year. Like maybe one in December and maybe one like 2 months before the game comes out. I just want to play the game. That's what it is. I just want to play this because I love what I've been seeing so far. I haven't seen anything that's been disappointing. I've seen plenty of things that I like. I've seen plenty of things that I love. If SNK keeps at it and there's no careless fumbles like with KOF 15 and Samurai Showdown, then we're golden. This is going to put them back on the map far as like being in the big running, because I know SNK of course put that little mission statement out where they want to really make a big comeback this year. And like I said, I can believe it. The way they've been pushing City of the Wolves, I don't see that declaration as just all talk. But that's all I got for this segment. Let me all know what you thought about SNK's presentation at Tokyo Game Show. And until next time, I am the Chris Lotus signing off. You all take care of yourselves, be safe out there, be cool to each other, and stay cool by staying hydrated out there. Anybody out there in the path of any storms coming, be safe. See ya.